before Jim.
I just wanted to make sure that it worked.
Just a noise pictures. Oh, this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and lift our voices in song. Sunday morning, and here we are, coming together from near and far. We're unity, a home for you and for me. I've got family waiting for me. Every Sunday I'm glad to see we're unity, a home for you and for me. We're so happy it's Sunday. This is our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're unity, a home for you and for me. Sun is shining and I am too. I feel so happy. How about you? Unity, home for you and for me. We're so grateful that love abounds with our brothers and sisters all around. We're unity, a home for you and for me. We're so happy it's Sunday. This is our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're unity, home for you and for me. We're unity, home for you and for me, everybody.
Thanks, Jim.
What? Who said that?
We usually wait until they say it's recording. It's recording? Okay, good. Well, welcome to Unity of London, 501 Nelson Street. We have a Christ candle, and it represents the light of inner loving connections that we have. Each of us shares with the world. We welcome our dear Kate Shield, who's going to come up and light the Christ candle for us. The power for this month is understanding, and the color is gold. Thanks, Kate. Here at Unity of London, we welcome first-timers, returning guests, longtime members, and all of our friends on Zoom. Okay. Well, we welcome home. We celebrate the spirit of abundance, love, and life in our community. As we grow together, we learn the joys of giving as well as receiving from each other. Okay, we're going to move along to our 5 principles. Next slide, guys. There we go. Please repeat with me the 5 principles. Number 1, God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. Number 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is within me and in everyone. Number 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Number 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. Number 5, I do my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. How do I make a difference? When we practice being the change, sharing a smile or a kind word with someone, paying attention to someone who looks lonely or sad, simply being quiet and listening to someone, volunteering our time to help. By these things, we are inspiring people to make a positive change in the world. Let's be the change. We coexist by providing fellowship and education for spiritual seekers in all walks of life. Oh, we've got another great song from our dear Jim. Well, that's what it's got written here.
Can I just go home now, Pauline, and next week start over? Actually, I don't. I'd be happy. Actually, I'd be happy to start this day over only because it's been a great day so far, except for what just happened there. And forgot to turn the machinery on. But I'll tell you that story a little bit later. I want to do a tune now that I was inspired this morning, and you'll find out about that later too. But I looked through the book, and I had some tunes chosen for today, and I looked through the book, and they didn't suit my mood this morning, the way I felt, because I felt great. It was a beautiful day, and something really wonderful happened to me. And so this is a song written by a fellow named Robert Power, which is kind of an interesting thing, because the song's called One Great Power. You probably know this, because we've done this many times. Well, there was just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. Just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. Well, there's one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the stars up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. Oh, there's one great power everywhere. Well, it was just one purpose, just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. Just one chorus we all can sing, one great power, let it ring. Well, there's one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere. Now here's a roll for you, a real easy one too. I'm going to sing one great power, and then so are you. Can we do that? Try it. I'm going to go one great power. 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 I say one great power everywhere. Well, there's just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There is just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. Well, there's one great power. power, one great love. Big as the ocean and the skies up above. Oh, one great spirit waiting in prayer. Oh, one great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere. Let's do that together again. Well, there's one great power. 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 One great power everywhere. Oh, there's one great power. One great love. Big as the ocean, the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. One great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere. There's one great power everywhere.
Thank you, Jim. You are amazing. You rock this place. Oh, you're welcome. There we go. Each Sunday, we have a prayer chaplain available to pray with you. Today's prayer chaplains are Pauline, and online, we've got Wilda. And if you're online and you want to pray with Wilda, then just put a little message in the chat, and she'll be thrilled to pray with you. The prayer chest is up here up in front of you, and if you want to pray for someone, you want prayer for someone, you can just take a little slip. There's little slips behind the chairs there, little prayer slips. Just put the name, just the first name is all we need. And Spirit knows who this person is or these people are. And our prayer chaplains will pray for those people. And then we'll send on those prayers to Unity International, called Silent Unity. They have a whole group of prayer chaplains there that will pray for you. As well, you can, if you want prayer anytime that, it's not a Sunday, you don't have a prayer chaplain available, you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And those folks at Silent Unity, they've got a whole group, as I said, of prayers supporters there. They'd be more than happy to pray with you. That service has been available, well, they haven't had a phone line open for 130 years, but in the past they had people that would write in wanting prayer, and our co-founder Myrtle Fillmore would return messages to those people. She'd pray for them, and her folks there would pray for them, and she would return, I say, with a quill pen. I'm not sure that it was that long ago that they had quill pens. I've said before that when I told my granddaughter that we didn't have ballpoint pens when I was a kid, she really thinks I'm old. But yeah, I remember when I was in school, we had to use not quills, but we did have to have ink and dip it in there. Anyway, so yes, call 1-800-NOW-PRAY. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And those phone lines are open 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year if you want prayer. All right. I'm going to invite our prayer chaplains who are here today, Lorraine and Kate and Pauline and Nancy. And I don't see Lindsay here today, but yeah, we're gonna circle the prayer box there, and I'll lead a little prayer. Okay, I didn't mean to stand up here, but that's okay. I can do that. We affirm, Divine Spirit, loving presence now for all who have requested prayer, and for all those whose names have been and will be in this prayer chest and in our hearts. We pray to Lord for each and all those loving people who put a prayer in this box for others. Amen. Now I'd like you all to join with me in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes or dim your gaze if you feel comfortable doing so, as we can then pray together. Relax into your chair and breathe. Let us release all negative thoughts as we go into prayer. Divine Spirit, we give thanks, sharing love with all gathered here at 501 Nelson Street, those online and those who will be viewing our service later on YouTube. We pray for all in our Unity community and those in our Soho communities. We give thanks for our divine understanding, knowing that each of us casts a light to the world, a light of blessings through our thoughts, actions, and prayers. We hold in prayer those who are experiencing the aftermath of fires, hunger, loneliness, health, and financial difficulties. We hold in prayer those experiencing homelessness and those in areas of conflict. This month, we also hold in prayer Unity Spiritual Center Hamilton and Unity Worldwide Ministries. We send love and affirm for each of these dear ones for whom we pray, knowing their needs are being met according to your will. And so it is. Amen. We welcome today's platform assistant, Nancy Youngson, who will read the daily word, and welcome our guest speaker who will be with us online.
Good morning and happy Pride. Some of us are personing the booth at the festival downtown. World peace. The peace of my soul brings peace to the world. The Bible's sacred pairings, lions and lambs, swords and plowshares, reveal that peace becomes possible when I and others hold life's polarities in harmony. These verses remind me that wholeness arises not from opposition, but from integration. Within all people, strength and tenderness, boundaries and compassion, courage and vulnerability, they all arise from divine source. Lion and lamb are not rivals, they are facets of one creation. Sword and plowshare are not contradictions, they are different tools for transformation. Peace begins when we see that opposites, both within and around us, can be allies rather than adversaries. As this realization takes root, any impulse to defend or harden begins to fade. From Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4, they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Today's speaker, no stranger, Wendy Karr. Wendy has been a member of the Unity community since 1984 and a licensed Unity teacher since 2000. Wendy has led Sunday services, spiritual education and enrichment classes, workshops, and spirit group throughout Canada and the U.S., and perhaps the world, because online, in person and online. Currently, Wendy serves as an adjunct faculty at Unity Worldwide Institute. And Wendy is honored to be here with us and Unity of London today. Please join me in welcoming Wendy as she gives her talk on Principle 1, God is.
Thank you, Nancy. Hi, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be with you in person today. Things happened and it just didn't work out. But thankfully, we have technology and I'm able to be with you remotely. Just before I start my talk, I would like to answer Dawn's question. And I think there were actually two there. So I don't know what kind of implement Myrtle wrote with, but I do know that letters from Silent Unity, such as it was, were actually typed out on with ribbons that were purple ink. And if you know your 12 powers, you know that purple represents power. So they were infusing the letters for the prayers with extra power by using the purple ink. And the other thing is the phone lines have been around for over 100 years. I don't have the exact date in my mind, but I know that they celebrated their 100th anniversary. So there you are. So let's get into. I'm starting a 5-part series here, and on the 5 principles which we just recited. Now, before I get into this too deeply, 3 things. Thing 1, if the word God triggers you, I empathize, please breathe, okay? Don't get up and run away. It'll get better, I promise. The second thing, know that we won't blame, shame, judge, or tell you to go away if the word God doesn't work for you. That's not the way unity is. And third, like your pronouns, we'll honor your preferred name for God. I once had a student whose name for God was grandmother. And we all kind of went, huh? And she quietly explained to me that she had grown up in an abusive household. Her grandmother had taken her out of that. And for her, grandmother was the only person that she knew loved her. And so she was very, very much aware at that point in time that she needed some kind of bridge between the word God and what she understood. So just take that into mind. Now, I'm hoping somebody has a microphone so I can be told what is being answered. And for those of you on the Zoom, please put this in the chat. So some of the names that we use in Unity, and we use a lot: Divine Mind, Universal Mind. Anyone have other ideas of what you might use instead of God? Anyone?
Okay.
Has anyone at Nelson got an idea? I know active participation is hard when I'm online and you're there. Okay, that's your homework then. Think of other names. I'll probably give you a few while we're going through this. All right, so this series starts today, and the last one will be in November at my last session with you folks, is based on the 5 principles for spiritual living. It's a Unity booklet that came out a couple of years ago. I have sent the PDF version of this to the church office, so I'm hoping that somehow or another you can get your hands on it, because I personally think it's a really good explanation of our principles. And I love that in each chapter, for each principle, there are 3 stories that demonstrate what it is that we mean. So it's very much a opportunity for us to learn more and for us to gain bridges where we might not have had them. One of the things I've appreciated about unity is that because we're not so caught up on the word God, that we have been able to um, to bridge gaps with other denominations. Now, some will be very fervent in their beliefs that you have to say God, that that's the only word there is. But for those that are a bit more flexible, it has allowed me to have some really interesting conversations about the nature of a divine principle and the principles that guide our lives with friends who follow the Hindu faith, the Muslim faith, the Jewish faith, Catholicism, a variety and wide spectrum of Christianity. And even someone who I have in my life who um, is following what I would describe as an earth-based tribal religion. And it's wonderful. We've had some amazing conversations about colonialism and how things have been stretched and misused and abused, and how we can reconcile and come to a space of being in harmony with each other. So, one of the things that comes up in the booklet and elsewhere is the idea of perennial philosophy. So let me take us back to the 1920s. So Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, and his wife Myrtle, who also co-founded in many ways, were very clear that they had an innate sense of what their spirituality was, and they were trying to find a pathway or a group or a something that blended with that. And I hear that because my church of origin did not match what I intuitively felt about God or spirit or oneness or whatever you want to call it. There was a huge gap for me as a child, which was really confusing. But that's what I love about unity is I've been able to bridge that gap. I've been able to come into that space. So in the 1920s, Charles wrote, under some duress, I'm given to understand, a statement of faith. What was it that Unity believed? If you're Catholic or grew up in many of the traditional Christian or denominations, you would have had some sort of catechism or confirmation classes where you were taught the beliefs of that denomination. And it is challenging to work on letting go of those beliefs, and I get that. But what I found really interesting was that if you read the 1923, I believe it was, version of our statement of faith, it doesn't look anything like what unity is today. It's very much based in traditional Christian theology and languaging. Maybe not so much theology, but the languaging of our beliefs. It doesn't sound like a separate organization. And very much at that time, men was used as an inclusive term for all people, not just men, but men and women. Of course, anyone who wasn't a man or a woman or identified as such as somebody described herself as a non-binary being. I love that. Um, that we could, we were not as aware of the importance of that distinction around gender as we are now. And so there's a few things in there that I kind of look at and go, you know what? If I had come into unity if this had been the the tenets of the faith when I came into unity in 1984, I'm not sure I would have stayed. But that's one of the beauties of unity is that we move and grow as society around us grows, as we as a community learn to grow. So Let me clarify one thing, though, that really bugs me as a historian, because Charles gets misquoted. The exact wording at the beginning of this is that if tomorrow I find that I have changed my mind, I reserve that right. That's a bit different. There's some nuance between that and Charles reserved the right to change his mind, because it was that if he came to an awareness of something that was different, he would change his mind. He was going to hold to these principles until and unless something came up that persuaded him otherwise. So, what you may be asking, what is a perennial philosophy? So, a perennial philosophy are those things that are similar amongst the world's faiths. So, usually we cite the golden rule that any spiritual community has some variation of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or as you would have done unto you, or however you want to phrase it. That is a perennial philosophy. And there are some others where we can find parallels between what unity believes and other faiths, and not just limited to Christian faiths. I have noticed that there are some very interesting parallels between Buddhism and unity, between Hinduism and unity. And I love that. To me, is telling us that we don't have a monopoly on truth, that instead we are just one of many pathways and understandings of what truth can be. So in 1990, the Fillmore's great-granddaughter, Connie, who was head of the Unity movement at the time, was asked to synthesize all of these beliefs. We had just passed our 100th anniversary as a movement, and there were a lot of variations. There was a lot of discussion. I remember reading where there was discussion about, are we a denomination? Are we non-denominational? What are we? And we haven't quite answered that question yet. We're still asking those questions. And I think that's really healthy, because rather than saying this is the box where we live, we are saying, okay, it's like having a cat who has a favorite box, but you bring home a new box, and what happens? It jumps out, sniffs around, and then decides whether or not the new box will be the favored place to sleep, or if they're going to continue to sleep in the old box. And that's how this has worked, that we have put together some thoughts and said, does this work for us as a community? Does this work for us as individuals? And you will find in the Unity movement a broad spectrum of how we interpret the Unity way of being. And I just want to shout out to Cease Chin, former congregant at Unity of Halton Peel, who made this beautiful artwork for us. We had it hanging in our building when we had a building. And as you can see, it's representative of most of the major world religions, with unity at the center. And as Ram Dass would say, I believe it was Ram Dass at least, that we are all walking each other home, that we are all headed in a similar direction, even when it looks like we're going to have a head-on crash or be T-boned. We are walking each other home. And there was some additional comments by me in there, just so you're clear. What's interesting to me is that even Connie's version of the comments was still kind of cumbersome. If you go to unity.org and look for the 5 basic principles, not sure what's there now. They've been changing their website. But it's been long sentences. And that's all well and good. They're trying to explain the inexplicable. And I think that's the biggest challenge. Anyone who's had a class with me knows that at some point during the course, I will say, I wish I had a USB drive, as I just did because my phones are dying of, need their batteries charged up. I wish I had a USB port and I could just plug into all of us and share the images and the non-describable concepts that are floating around in my brain and in my heart. and to see and hear and feel what you are feeling. But that's not possible. So we do the best we can with language. So why bother with this? Why concern ourselves with this? To me, it's really important to have a concept and understanding of what unity stands for. As I said earlier, it's a spectrum. And it may be that a particularly Christian-oriented, and I use that term very carefully and advisedly, those who follow Jesus probably would be a better phrase at this point in time with the politics the way they are. That we have that too. We have some who will not use the terms God or Jesus or Holy Spirit or any of those other traditional Christian terms in their Sunday gatherings. And both are fine because both are expressing the same underlying principles, but just using different words. Okay, so trigger warning. I'm about to say God a whole bunch of times. If it's a word that bothers you, please mentally change it within yourself. But I'm quoting text, and sometimes it's hard for me to change those words as I'm going here. So first principle, God is absolute good everywhere present. We already spoke words similar to that. Now, I want you to take a note here. Capitalization of words is really important in unity, particularly in the early writings. Whenever you see a capitalized word that seems out of place, you're like, why are you capitalizing it? Couldn't you just like bold it or something? No, we capitalize words like absolute good in this sentence to indicate that we're talking about it on the spiritual plane, not on the human or physical plane, that we're talking about something that is beyond our physical comprehension. And so someone can be an expression of absolute good, capital A, capital G, and still be a less than ideal person because they're unaware of the absolute good, capital A, capital G within them. And that can be a real struggle. I get that. When I worked in the courthouse, I remember a day where I was asked to be on the preliminary hearing of a murder case. And it was a rather nasty one. And I remember feeling with all my body that as I went into the courtroom and announced the judge and everything, that my job that day, aside from the administrative tasks that I would perform, swearing in witnesses, putting tags on exhibits, escorting my judge back and forth to chambers, that the absolute good I had to do, capital A, capital G, was to see the person in the prisoner's box as a child of God, to see that in spite of their outward actions, at the very core of their being, they were still divinity in expression. We'll talk more about divinity in expression in next month. It was hard. It was hard to see that when I was being handed all the evidence of the bad things this person had done, not only related to that crime, but to previous crimes. And yet, if God is absolute good and we are an aspect of God, therefore we must be absolute good in potentiality. As I say, more on that next time because that's actually principle 2. But I just want you to ponder that and to, when you see the news, consider that God is, and the idea of not an anthropomorphic being, not someone up in the clouds, which is what I had been raised with the book, but a principle. So change out the word God or the meaning of the word God for principle. In one of every chapter of this booklet has 3 stories in it, and in this chapter, Reverend Kelly Isola suggests that the remaining 4 principles are actually practical applications of this first principle. So we take some time to consider what this looks like. So Reverend Elizabeth Longo in her piece writes, I take time to learn more about the unified field and the latest science that confirms that there is an intelligence present everywhere. What we call God is considered to be a principle in science. Science has caught up to us. We have been saying in Unity at least and elsewhere, we have been saying that there is a universal mind that knows all and tells all. We have seen evidence of it, even back as far as the Middle Ages and back into ancient Greece, where two people are meditating and considering ideas and they come up with the same idea at the same time or very similar times, such that they couldn't know that the other was thinking about what the other was, that there was no way they could have met. When you look at archaeological digs and you see similarities in South America and Africa that are too recent to have been back when the world was just kind of one big continent, but rather that they had separated. The fact that there are such similarities in stories, in artwork around the world, tells us that there is something greater than the human mind at work here. In the second story shared by Reverend Kelly Isola, she quotes Eric Butterworth. God is spirit present in its entirety at every point in space at the same time. Now, as a kid, I did not get that idea that God was everywhere present, because how could that guy with the long flowing robes and the beard and the long white hair and the book with the quill pen outside the pearly gates, keeping an eye on it, how could he do that? That made no sense to me as a child. But when you move it out of the human consciousness into principle, into a spiritual concept, then it becomes about the energies around us, in us, and through us, magnifying into the oneness. And as I just said, that sense of oneness, that each of us as a human being is still an expression of something greater, the God is. I love the idea that Charles considered, and he suggested that that there were aspects of science. Now he's writing. He passed in 1948, so he's writing, just at the end of before and at the end of World War II. So lots of stuff has happened since 1948. But even then, he's writing about how scientists are discovering that cells talk to each other, that, animals have a language, that there are all these things that we didn't think possible in the past, that science is showing us, but that fit in with spiritual and parallel spiritual principles. The third story is kind of a sad one. Trigger alert. It has to do with the passing of a beloved family pet. And the Reverend Lulu Logan writes about how she was so devastated and her children were devastated. And as she was putting the clothing out on the line to dry, she was basically yelling at God. Why? Why did this happen? And I think that's something so important for us to understand. It's that God is principle as opposed to being, with a small b. If God is principle, then of course you can be honest and in full integrity and say, why did this happen to me? Why am I going through this suffering? Why is this not right and airy and butterflies and sunflowers and perfect? Why is this such a challenge? And she writes, that was my first awareness of the presence and power of the one God in the universe and in my life as absolute good. She realized as she worked through the pain, through the grief, that she was still in the oneness, that she hadn't been abandoned, that she wasn't facing it alone. And I think that's a very, very important part of our learning. There are those who will tell you that, and Unity won't, I promise, that if you disobey God, you will be shut out. No, you will always be welcomed. You will always be loved. You will always be a creature of divine expression. And I say creature because I'm coming to a space of truly understanding that we don't get the animals, whether they're domesticated or wild. But we too are mammals. We too have our traits. We too, take care of our babies. We too take care of our dying. God is. That is the first principle, and from these, everything else extends. That's what I have to say this week, and I will continue this in August. And now let's take a moment, as is our tradition when I speak, to do our affirmations. And I just want to acknowledge that this month, these have been inspired by Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. If you have not read Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, I invite you to. They're available for free download as a PDF at truthunity.net. Ask Pauline; she'll know where to find it. It may be in your bookstore or your library. I don't know. It's a posthumous collection of Myrtle's writings, and what she has to say is so beautiful, in my opinion. I could be a little biased, but it was very healing for me as a young person when I first came into Unity. All right, as is our tradition, I will read this once and pause so we can take these words in, and then I will invite you to join me in speaking them aloud. For inner peace, established in the center of my being, I am still and peaceful. And together, established in the center of my being, I am still and peaceful. For wisdom, God is the wisdom that flows as intelligence throughout every cell in my body and every thought in my mind. And together, God is the wisdom that flows as intelligence throughout every cell in my body and every thought in my mind. And for healing, I tell the truth of divine life to my body and my circumstances. And together, I tell the truth of divine life to my body and my circumstances. For prosperity, focused in faith, I perceive the truth of divine abundance by which I prosper. And together, focused in faith, I perceive the truth of divine abundance by which I prosper. And for world peace, in the light of spiritual understanding, I behold divinity within all beings. And some affirmations to take in from our booklet. The presence and power of God guides me in all my affairs. Whenever I am living with dignity, compassion, care, love, and belonging, I am living oneness. I am held warmly and tenderly, profoundly loved by the divine creator of the universe. Let's just take a moment and take these thoughts into our minds and hearts. Another thought to take with us this week. God is spirit, or the creative energy that is the cause of all visible things. And let us take that into our minds and hearts. From Myrtle, God is the one perfect life flowing through us. And finally, just a gentle reminder, God is not a supreme being watching, judging, parenting, or protecting us, but rather the substance of all that exists, including us. And just taking a breath, we give thanks for this time together, for the technology that allows me to be with you. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful month. And so it is, and so I let it be. Amen.
Okay, there we go. Wendy, thank you so much. You are such a blessing to everybody here at Unity of London. And we just rejoice in your commitment to us that you come almost every month, if not every month, even in the snowiest of days in the winter. Thank you so much. What a blessing that message was. Now we've got our friend Jim back up to play us another one of his beautiful songs.
I'm going to do it by the numbers this time. First, plug in the guitar. I have to unplug it because if I don't, it runs the battery down. How's that for clever engineering? And then number 2 is we're going to turn it on. And number 3 is I'm going to flip the page back here just for one moment. I'm asking your indulgence for just a moment because nope, never mind. I told you before I had a wonderful thing happen to me today, but it grew out of a very unhappy thing. Last week, Pauline, as she always does, touched my heart with her message. And she was talking about growing old and making the most of growing old. Really, that's kind of was the gist of what I took away from it. And I have a little, my notebook right there. I take notes every week of the speaker because I don't trust my memory to remember all the things that strike me as important. So last week, I'm taking my notes and not having a great day. And the line just came to me, so I wrote the line down. Remember, I'm still listening to Pauline. And then there's another next line down. Listen, next line. So after about 10 minutes, I have a whole song. It was a song. It was a song. Lyrics for a song. And I don't know where it came from. I certainly wasn't trying to, gee, what's the next line going to be? I was just sitting there, and then suddenly the next line, write it down. So I wrote it all down. At the Sacred Circle, they were supposed to keep things there. I shared it with the folks at the Sacred Circle. I'm glad I did because I lost it. I don't know where it is. I had it written down. I took it home. I read it to my wife, and she liked it. And I put it somewhere, and I looked all week long for that because I so much wanted to play that song for Pauline today because I was so inspired by that. Wouldn't it be nice if I can't find. So last night, Carl's gone to bed, and I'm ransacking the house for the 5th time, going through my terrible mess of an office. Can't find it. Go to bed unhappy. Not unhappy, but I wake up very early this morning, and something inside me said, "You're going to find that this morning." So I get out of bed earlier than I would, and I search, and I didn't find it. And with that realization, I'm not going to be able to do that. I kind of, as we all do sometimes, I kind of, right? We've all done that, right? You come to that moment when, well, I guess that's not going to work out. But I was not happy about it. And as I was sitting there, actually, I was sitting in the living room, kind of going, gee, it sucks to be me today. I wish I had that. And again, it's not a voice, it's not somebody speaking words, but there's something. And it said, your problem is not that you made a mistake yesterday, that you didn't put that somewhere safe. The problem is that you've got to be looking not to do that today, to whatever happens to you today. It's not about yesterday, it's about today and tomorrow. That's what you should be concentrating on. And maybe if you did that, things would be a little happier for you today. And my gosh, I swear to you, I swear, Spirit knows, I'm sitting there and boom, there's a line. And boom, there's another line. And I scrambled to get a piece of paper. So because they're coming, and I just, and I wrote them all down as fast as I could. And I went in and put them on the computer, and I polished them up a little bit. And I have this for you today. I'm sorry I don't have Pauline's, but, and I don't even know how this is going to work, because Spirit, I really believe Spirit gave this to me. I'm not sure that he gave me the whole melody. I'm not sure that I know the whole melody yet. I'm not sure if I have a melody, but we're going to find out together. Is that fair? Sorry, I didn't mean to go on so long, but I have to tell you a little bit about what the song is. I want to be a little bit better tomorrow than the best I was today. I owe it to myself and to my friends and family. I want to do more to spread the power of love, 'cause that is what I'm thinking of. I want to be a little better tomorrow than the best I was today. The days come and go and the weeks go by. Time does not slow no matter who you are. Life is seldom as easy as we'd like. But I've been around a while, I know the value of a smile and the power of separating right from wrong. I want to be a little bit better tomorrow than the best I was today. I owe it to myself, to my friends and family. I want to do more to spread the power of love, 'cause that is what I'm thinking of. I want to be a little better tomorrow than the best I was today. I think it's easy when you focus to see in retrospect all the things you might have done to put you through. If you always do your best to make peace and love your quest, you'd have changed the world before your race is through. I want to be tomorrow than the best I was today. I owe it to myself, to my friends and family. I want to do more to spread the power of love, 'cause that is what I'm thinking of. I want to be a little better tomorrow than the best I was today. I believe I always try to be my best. That really is all that I can do. But every day's a brand new test, it's the same for me and you. Can you make the world a little better by being a spiritual go-getter? Oh, yes, you can. Be a little bit better tomorrow than the best I was today. I owe it and to myself and to my friends and family. I want to do more to spread the power of love, 'cause that is what I'm thinking of. I want to be a little better tomorrow than the best I was today. I want to be a little better tomorrow than the best I was today. Oh, we can do it.
Thank you, Jim. Oh my goodness, that was lovely. There we go. We're going to have some lovely people passing the blue bags. And it's our volunteers. Those are for monetary donations. It is the sharing of our talents, our time, and our treasures with Unity of London that keeps Unity and all of us thriving as a community of spiritually uplifted individuals united in love and fellowship. We prosper in abundance for Unity of London and all spiritual communities in all forms and in all realms, body, mind, and spirit. There comes Renee and Kate. Please join in the prosperity blessing. We're just looking for the slide. Here we go. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Our announcements are coming up. We have lots of announcements. The Sacred Circle. If any of you are new here, the Sacred Circle happens right in this very room at 12 o'clock, and it's just a circle of chairs. But we get to speak about spiritual things together and receive support. And what is said in the circle stays in the circle. It's an open forum. Yes. And here's some of our announcements. We're at the Pride Festival. Unity is represented there. You'll find a table there. Unity has a tent in Victoria Park there. And it's going to be held July 17th to the 19th. And today, from 11 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. we'll be there. See Suzanne, if you want to volunteer. I don't see Suzanne today here. She's at the table? Oh, sorry. Oh, she's there at the table, at the booth there. That's why so give her a call if you got her phone number, or somebody can probably, Pauline knows her phone number. Yeah. Okay, just go and help out if you want, or certainly go and represent Unity there. You don't have to have a job to do that. I did it one year and loved it. I met so many lovely people, and we had on those shirts like the one that Pauline has on that says, I see the Spirit of God in everyone. I see the face of God in everyone. And people were coming off of the floats, coming and saying, can I take your picture with those shirts that you've got on? Yes, it was a really beautiful time. Okay. Oh, I was supposed to read off of there, not off of here. Oh, feeding the homeless. Pauline and Robert and I, and anybody who'd like to help out will be here at Unity of London on Tuesday morning, the 21st, and at 10 o'clock. And we are going to be preparing a lunch for the homeless. And we're making pulled pork, vegetables, and goodies like that. So yeah, we would love to have anybody with us who would like to participate. Just let me know, or as Pauline says, just come. Yes, yes. And the Unity is going to be happening the first Friday of next month. And there's tea and coffee for those of us who don't drink tea. Cookies and conversation and games. It's lots of fun. Yeah, come. Bring a friend. And of course, the Wednesday night music festival here, as it is every Wednesday night. Jim, and he brings with him a whole group of wonderful professional entertainers. And who have we got this week coming? Come on up here and tell us. Okay, can you hear him?
We have Charlotte Ross duo, and Charlotte's parents also have a musical duo. They've been here before. They're absolutely wonderful, and they'll be here this Wednesday night. Bernie's here the next week.
Okay, Charlotte Ross and her family, it sounds like. A whole musical family. There we go. And you can get your advance tickets if you contact Jim Chapman at rogers.com, or pay at the door. It's only $10 for a musical concert. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. And it starts at 7:30, runs through till 9, or when Jim stops talking. Oh, and I've got to call to the stage Lorraine and Chris, because they have some wonderful things to say about the condo lottery.
Just for that, I should hand you the microphone. Okay, as everyone knows, we had a draw for a week stay at our condo in Grand Bend. 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, parking spot, 2 kayaks if you want to hoist them down into the water. Anyway, we are delighted to personally present the $500 check to the winners today. Darian Robbins and his fiancée Julie, please come on up. Thank you so much for supporting us. Yes, and enjoy your week. All right, thank you.
That sounds great, guys. Don't forget your sunscreen. Okay. Please read with me. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yea, God. Now let's get together here in a circle to sing the peace song.